This 2025 Indonesian zombie thriller begins with what seems like a miracle invention, an anti-aging serum that claims to reverse old age and restore youth. The problem is, the drug has never been officially tested. Despite that, one bottle is delivered to a wealthy old man living in a luxurious estate, while another sample is sent to a powerful businesswoman in the city. No one knows these two bottles are carrying the beginning of a nightmare. The old man wastes no time. He drinks the serum immediately, hoping to become young again. The next morning, something unbelievable happens. His white hair has turned black. The wrinkles on his face are fading, and his body feels full of life again. He looks like a younger version of himself. His family gathers around him in total shock. They can't believe their eyes. Excited by the results, the old man proudly announces that this product will soon be introduced to the world and make them even richer. But while everyone is celebrating, no one notices the strange red discoloration spreading under his skin. His veins begin to darken and his body starts reacting in a horrifying way. Without warning, he coughs blood, collapses to the floor, and stops moving. Panic spreads through the mansion. His children immediately call for emergency help, believing he has died. Then, in the middle of the chaos, the old man suddenly sits upright again. But he is no longer the same person. His face twists into something monstrous. His movements become violent, and he attacks the nearest servant with savage hunger. Screams echo through the house as the family realizes something impossible has happened. The old man has become a zombie. The butler rushes in to help, but he is thrown to the ground. Although he escapes a direct bite, infected blood splashes into his mouth. That small moment becomes deadly. The son, Abang, bravely pulls his father away from the servant, but the creature turns and attacks him instead. Family members desperately try to stop the madness, but emotion means nothing to the infected. With no other choice, Abang grabs a crossbow and fires. The old man drops lifelessly to the floor once again. The family stands frozen in horror. The mother breaks down beside her husband's body, unable to process what she has just seen. Meanwhile, the son-in-law tries to stay calm and orders the butler to drive to the police station and report everything as an accident. But the infection has already entered the butler's body, and the first signs begin to show. Outside, Abang sits alone in a vehicle, overwhelmed with guilt for killing his own father. His sister Nice comforts him and reminds him he had no choice. But their emotional moment is interrupted when the servant, who was bitten, starts convulsing violently. Within seconds, he fully transforms and charges at the family. The mother barely manages to kick him away. The zombie then turns toward the son-in-law. A maid tries to protect the family, but she is quickly overpowered and killed. Realizing the mansion is no longer safe, the surviving family members split up and flee with the child. But the horror does not stay inside the house for long. The infected butler, now losing control, speeds his car straight into a village celebration where people are honoring the chief's 70th birthday. Villagers are thrown aside as the vehicle crashes through the crowd. Furious and confused, the village chief marches toward the driver's door and yanks it open, only to be attacked instantly. In moments, the celebration turns into a bloodbath. As the infection spreads through the crowd, rain begins to fall as Abang and Nice call the others. They agree to regroup at the village chief's house, not knowing it has already become another disaster zone. When some of the survivors arrive, they find bodies everywhere and zombies tearing through anyone still alive. With no safe path through the front entrance, they sneak in through the back. But even there, they are not safe. A zombie suddenly appears and attacks the nanny. One of the family members tries to help, but they are dragged inside just in time before more undead creatures swarm the yard. Doors are slammed shut, and for a moment they survive. Soon after, Nice and Abang reach the area as well. They stare in disbelief at the streets covered in corpses and surrounded by zombies. In desperation, they call the others. But during the chaos, they accidentally draw attention to themselves, and the horde begins chasing their car. They speed away, narrowly escaping, while unlucky villagers are caught behind them. Elsewhere, the son-in-law is bitten during another attack. He knows exactly what that means. As the infection spreads through his arm, he kneels beside his son and says an emotional goodbye. He tells the child that even if parents argue, it never changes how deeply they love their children. Then he steps away, prepared for what is coming. Moments later, he transforms and attacks. His wife fights back with whatever she can find, smashing him with a ceramic object before escaping into another room with the child. There they meet a woman named Ali, the owner of the house, who has also been running from the undead. After making sure no one is infected, she allows them to hide with her. Meanwhile, Nias insists they must go back and save her husband and son. Abang argues that returning would be suicide. While the siblings argue inside the moving car, they lose focus and crash. Thankfully, they survive the accident, but the noise attracts nearby zombies. A truck driver stops to help, unaware of the danger. Before he can react, the undead swarm him and the people inside the truck. Several agile zombies even climb onto the vehicle roof and attack through the top. It becomes another massacre in seconds. Abang and Nice run toward the nearest police station, hoping for protection. Inside, the officers are casually discussing fireworks they recently confiscated, completely unaware of the catastrophe outside. Breathless and terrified, the siblings rush in and explain everything. The police are skeptical and assume it is just panic or violence in the village. When officers step outside to investigate, they are met with a horrifying sight. Roads filled with zombies charging straight at them. Tear gas does nothing. Warning shots do nothing. Officers are dragged down one by one as the remaining police retreat in terror. Inside the station, the survivors think they are safe, but the nightmare follows them. One of the wounded officers dies from his injuries, then rises again. The infected police chief attacks his own men. Abang is forced to shoot him, but even then, the body rises once more. They barely manage to lock the zombie inside a holding cell. Now fully aware of the danger, the surviving officer Raman contacts his superiors for emergency backup, but he cannot even explain what is happening. So he simply reports a violent uprising. Unknown to them, the rescue team sent to help is ambushed and wiped out before reaching the town. Later, the group climbs to the roof and finally sees the truth. The entire town has fallen. Everywhere they look, streets are crawling with undead bodies. There is no army, no rescue, and no easy way out. Then a strange sound echoes through the distance, a prayer, being broadcast from somewhere in town. The zombies begin moving toward the noise. Raman realizes the creatures are strongly attracted to sound. He immediately grabs the confiscated fireworks and lights one. Just as he hoped, the zombies follow the sound away from the station. This gives them a dangerous plan. A motorcycle still sits outside on the road. If they can reach it, they can escape and rescue the others. After dark, they wear protective riot gear, shields, and helmets. They crack open the station door, ignite more fireworks through the gap, and wait as the horde drifts away. Then they run. For a few seconds it works. But nearby zombies notice them, and Raman fires his weapon. The gunshots bring the entire horde back. The 3 survivors are quickly surrounded. Using shields, they form a defensive wall as dozens of zombies push in from every side. The pressure becomes so intense they can barely breathe. Just when death seems certain, thunder shakes the sky. Every zombie suddenly stops and looks upward. Heavy rain pours down, confusing the creatures and breaking their focus. Using the chaos, the survivors escape toward the motorcycle. At the same time, the storm distracts the zombies surrounding the house where the women are hiding. They seize the opportunity and flee on a motorcycle with the child. But the moment the rain stops, the zombies become aggressive again. More chases follow. Nias is separated and forced into a truck to survive, only to discover she doesn't know how to drive it. Trapped inside and surrounded, she begins to lose hope. Soon the others arrive nearby, unaware she is inside the truck. Their motorcycle fails to start at the worst possible moment. As zombies close in, fireworks suddenly explode from the truck. It is Nice. She uses the sound to lure the undead away, saving everyone and reuniting with her child. But safety lasts only minutes. The fireworks burn out and the horde returns. Everyone rushes into a cargo truck and drives toward the police station. In the panic, the vehicle crashes through the station entrance. Cargo falls everywhere, pinning Abang's leg beneath heavy supplies. He cannot move. The others desperately try to free him, but zombies begin crawling through the broken windows. Raman stands in front of Ali and fires until he is overwhelmed. At the same time, the infected police chief escapes confinement and bites Ali. Raman, filled with rage and heartbreak, empties his weapon into the monster, but both he and Ali are doomed. In her final moments, he gives her the ring he had planned to use to propose. She places it on her finger, understanding his love too late. On the other side of the truck, Abang realizes he will only slow everyone down. Fuel is leaking beneath the wreckage. With tears in their eyes, he says goodbye to his sister and the others. Once they escape through the rear exit, Abang lights fireworks and throws them into the gasoline. A massive explosion erupts, destroying the truck and the zombies around it. He sacrifices himself so the rest can live. As the last survivors flee into the night, Nice notices a bite wound on her own hand. She understands her fate immediately. Refusing to become a danger to her child, she hands the boy over to Dame and apologizes through tears. Then she takes a pistol and walks away alone. When nearby zombies approach, she lights more fireworks and leads them into the fields, drawing the horde after her. Only after she knows her son is safe does she face the end by herself. In the middle of the apocalypse, a mother's final act is not fear but protection. The next morning, Dame and the child leave the ruined town behind. Smoke rises in the distance and the nightmare seems over. But then the story cuts to the city. The powerful businesswoman receives the second bottle of the anti-aging serum. Without hesitation, she drinks it. The disaster in the town was only the beginning. The real outbreak is about to reach the city.